is now being accused of obstructing. Diddy running the jail, man, running the spot. Right. According to you, the inmates are fighting over. Well, really, according to Lisa Evers, I want to give her credit. Lisa Evers is an amazing job covered all things in the area. She interviewed an inmate that spent some time at NBC Brooklyn alongside. You know, remember, we're all thinking that Diddy's like his super isolation, knowing me. We later find out through report filings by the government. No. And this one inmate looked like he's not wrong because he said, "Hey, listen, Diddy's such a big player in terms of his power, and he's that guy even in jail."
Diddy is a name that commands attention, whether he's in the boardroom or behind bars. But imagine being so powerful that, even locked up, you're still running the show. That's the reality for Diddy right now. There are even reports from the inside that inmates are getting jealous of who's making his bed. Yeah, you heard that right. Someone's actually making Diddy's bed in jail. I know it sounds unbelievable, but this isn't just some wild rumor. An inmate speaking to Fox's Lisa Evers confirmed it. Now, I know Lisa. She's been around the block and is a trusted journalist, so when she reports something like that, it's serious. But it doesn't stop there. The real story is way deeper. A recent court filing has revealed just how far Diddy's influence stretches, even while incarcerated. According to the government's filings, Diddy's not just sitting in a cell, he's running the entire system. He's using at least 8 different inmates' access codes to make calls, controlling who gets added to the conversation, and calling the shots like a CEO. This man isn't just surviving in jail, he's thriving.
Who's getting jealous at us? Who made his bed? I'm like, yo, that's a real thing? People are actually making his bed? Yeah, I thought you were just joking. Listen, there's an inmate that said it. There's an inmate that said it, that Lisa Evers, who works for Fox. You know Lisa, I've done a show before. Okay, works. So that's what that inmate said. And I think some people wanted to call it cap, because we realized that, the filing that came out on Friday or Thursday by the government, which is a response to Diddy going to jail, essentially said Diddy is using like 8 other inmates, like personal access codes, to call everybody he wants. Like, have this person to the call, have this person. No, like he's running the jail. So these inmates, I completely believe, by the way, this is how the government, he's getting them paid directly. What they call cash process. Yeah. So probably tells his people, send her $1,000, send his mom, send his girl, and then the inmate in there with him was like, yo, we don't have your conversation, you're gonna move around like this. So I get why this is happening, and the only thing I look at is like, why do people believe or think anything from it? Like, you think you're gonna normalize a billionaire?
Now, this isn't just about making calls. The feds claim Diddy's been using these illegal calls, including 3-way calls, to manipulate his case. He's paying inmates to act as intermediaries, and they're using their own phone accounts to bypass jail monitoring. What's even crazier is that these calls aren't just about checking in with family or friends. The government claims Diddy has been asking his family to reach out to potential victims and witnesses, urging them to create narratives that could influence the jury pool. He's even allegedly been trying to blackmail witnesses, offering them incentives for silence or favorable testimony. He's running the whole thing like a marketing campaign from inside his cell.
That could have any time. Like, if Diddy walked in a room and this guy's a significant amount of money, power, and even respect, despite whatever happened, and y'all are all in jail, you're not gonna be like, yo, bro, he usually don't gotta bring his tray over there to throw it away. Now do it. I want to be cool with all my people outside. Like, shit, I have a public defender. This guy is spending $2.some million a month on court. He could throw me 25 million. Hey, nobody can touch Diddy anymore. That's like, I'm gonna act like I'm the most rich they doing. Hey, I'm letting y'all know, anybody want to get to him, y'all gotta go through me. So this kind of sounds normal. However, I think people thought Diddy was done. He got, okay, you're finally a regular person, and they're realizing, Diddy didn't work all them years to get billions, just to get locked up and those billions came. Right. He still did it. Yeah. Well, I went through the filing, the report. So what they say, that recorded phone calls made by Diddy showed that he had family members to reach out to the with. Also urged him to create narrative for the jury. Also encouraged them to make marketing strategies to public opinion. Diddy used his telephone account of at least 8 inmates to avoid monitoring. He gave the inmates intermediaries in violation of the rules, like you said. He also was using three-way calls, getting people on the phone, which is illegal. So basically what they said, the defendant has shown repeatedly, even while in custody, he will flagrantly, repeatedly flout rules in order to properly impact outcomes. The defendant has shown, in other words, he cannot be trusted to abide by rules or conditions.
But here's the big question. Does he even realize that every call is being recorded? Does he think he's fooling the system by using other inmates' phone privileges? Because here's the reality. Everything's being watched. The government has all of it on tape. They know exactly what's going on. And yet, Diddy's still making these calls, trying to manipulate his case. It's like he's playing a game, but he's not fully aware of how deep the consequences will be when it all comes out. Some people are acting like Diddy's done just because he's behind bars, like being in jail somehow erases everything he's built. But let's get real. This man didn't work his whole life to create a multi-billion-dollar empire just to let it all crumble while locked up. Diddy's too smart for that. He's not a regular inmate. He's a billionaire. And that wealth and power don't disappear just because you're sitting in a cell. He's been moving behind the scenes, making sure that even while he's in jail, he's still controlling the narrative.
And I guess they actually found a note forward that he wants to blackmail victims by providing testimony, or into providing testimony that's actually helpful. So, I guess what I'm wondering is, he does realize all this. Using someone else's privileges, but they're watching everything. So, three-way call is being recorded. So, my takeaway was, I'm gonna wait for the government to follow all the leaders coming right now, and it looks a little. Because yes, it's great to make Diddy look like this guy mob boss, but does anyone, again, good from a person never ever dealt with something. How many inmates, and Vlad, no names here, how many inmates do you know that did three-way call?
Sure, he's using his resources to influence his case, but here's where things get complicated. This is where the line between power and corruption blurs. He's not the first person to make illegal calls in prison, but when you're Diddy, there's no slap on the wrist. He's a big fish, and the system is out to make an example of him. They're not going to let him slide like they would with someone less high profile. They're going to prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. But let's also take a step back and think about this from a different angle. This situation, while extreme, isn't exactly rare in the world of high-stakes criminal cases. Inmates, especially those with money and influence, have always found ways to bend the rules.
They all do it. I talk to inmates on cell phones while locked up and exactly. And no one is saying, yo, Vlad, this is to influence my case. Sometimes they just call me like, yo, what's the word out there, man? Everything good? Like, yeah, yo, nah, I'm gonna come home soon, it's all good. But sometimes it's never. So that I thought was a little bit thin. Obviously, they're trying to prove himself. Him putting money on other people's books. He's a good guy. He wants to have his privileges, right? Now, this whole thing of him trying to blackmail people, and I hate to even, some people will be like, oh no, he didn't do that. No, I'm defending someone who is, just anybody, who's locked up, using whatever he can to his advantage, try to get things looking better for himself before he goes to trial. Yeah, but some of the stuff is and everybody does. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everyone else will be a slap on the wrist. Everyone knows this is a big fish. No slaps on the wrist. They're going to prosecute him to the full extent in order to keep him in there.
It's not about defending Diddy's actions. It's about recognizing that when you're a billionaire like him, the stakes are higher, the consequences are harsher, and the game is played on a whole different level. At the end of the day, Diddy is not just some inmate in a cell. He's a billionaire who's been using his wealth and influence to fight for his freedom. And while some might call it manipulation or criminal activity, others might argue he's simply doing whatever it takes to survive in a system stacked against him. Either way, one thing's for sure, Diddy's story is far from over, and we're just waiting to see how this all unfolds.